noisy in the background. I apologize for my puppy making noises. Okay, think I'm ready? Had a little bit of technical. So you get to be live with me, and you get to see all those, well, hear her making all those noises. So hi guys, it's Elena, and I'm enchanted to have you be here on my channel. Hello, and welcome to my kitchen where it's kind of clean just for you, and I have all the ingredients set up on the side, and my puppy's playing with her toy. So today I'm going to be making zucchini noodles with turkey meatballs and homemade tomato sauce type of stuff. So stick around, let's watch. I'm glad you're here on my channel, whether you're watching it live or watching it later. Puppy, again, her name is Solstice, and she's sometimes a little bit of a pain in the butt. So without further ado, let's get cooking. These are the ingredients that I have in the back, and I'm going to kind of go over what we have. So I have fresh tomatoes, onions, and garlic. Smaller tomatoes, mainly for garnish. I have zucchinis. Well, the green zucchini, and I think it's a yellow zucchini or some other. It's a squash, long squash of some sort. I have eggs. I have Romano cheese, kind of out of frame here. Butter, ground turkey, turmeric, paprika, green onions, and fresh basil from my little garden. Also on the side here, I don't know if you can see it or not, I have some tools and things that I'll be using, like a strainer, cheese grater, and like some utensils stuff. So first off, I will be starting off with the zucchini so that I can let it drain properly before we cook it. That way it doesn't come out to be too watery and, well, that sort of thing. Getting my handy-dandy chopping device. And it's a little bit bruised in the sides, but there's nothing really bad about it. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit so that it'll look nice and pretty afterwards. A little bit like that and that. So for making these into noodles, zoodles, however you want to call them, I use a little device that I got at Costco. It's a little handheld device, so it's not the greatest thing in the world. Also, I am leaving on some of the ends. It'll be easier for me to kind of push it through. There's that. And here's my little zoodle making device. So I'm going to put that over this. And I'm also going to put a paper towel in here just to kind of help seep out some of the moisture from the zucchini so it's not, nice and soggy when it's cooked. And this is a little tool that I have. Kind of just stick it on here, twist it, and it turns it into noodles. And it's kind of awesome. Don't really have a lot of muscle power for this, so my husband usually helps me out, but he's busy doing his own stuff, so I'm gonna muscle through it. And it makes noodles. Ta-da! Another little hack that he does is he just sticks this thing in a drill and just kind of it through. So maybe I'll borrow a drill next time. But it's not too bad, it's not too hard, and it just makes these wonderful little noodle thingamabobbers. And I'm just gonna push it through. Hi guys, whoever's joining new now, I'm glad you're still here if you've been here since the beginning. So let's see, zoodles are pretty much awesome. They don't really have that much of like their own flavor. They're very easily flavored by kind of their surrounding, what you cook them with. So whether you cook them with like olive oil, a little bit of basil, some tomatoes, it gives it like a nice citrusy flavor, which is delicious and amazing. Or if you want to go for a more like Spanish dish, you can add different like paprikas to it. I'm kind of losing adobo and that type of thing. So you can definitely flavor it to whatever profile of dish you're cooking. I think what I'm making this time around is more like Italian inspired, maybe like Spain inspired. I don't know. It's tasty. I've made this before. My husband loves it. I love it. Another great thing about zoodles, as a little thing that, that doesn't get broken up in here, and these are the noodles, how they come out. is that they are vegan. They're a lot less calories than normal pasta would be. They have a similar texture to pasta if they're not overcooked. Gluten-free. Let's see, and like so many like other good things. So if you're really not a fan of zucchinis, like eating it in like the standard, baked form and that type of thing, give Zoodles a try. I know some supermarkets and some grocery places have them already kind of pre-made, so you don't have to struggle like I am a little bit. But you can always, have an arm workout, because why not? I do leave the ends on a little bit longer because I like my fingers, and I'm a little scared to push them through all the way. That's why the ends are a little long, and they have these little noodle ends, that type of thing. So I mix green and yellow together. It makes for a pretty color profile. Okay, 2 more to go. Now I do this first so that I can put a little bit of salt on it and just kind of let it sit aside. That way it's kind of like wicking out some of the moisture from them, and they don't get as soggy when you cook them, which I think is kind of a good thing. If you can do it the night before, even salt them a little bit, stick them in the fridge, and then use it, for lunch or something like that, they come out even better. So the more moisture that comes out of them, the more like pasta they have a texture of. So here's a little tip for you. What else? The sound and quality of this camera is not the best because I'm using a little Logitech webcam because my big fancy camera needs some sort of fancy things to connect to my laptop. And I think we purchased already 3 different rounds of wires to try to connect it to my computer to use as a webcam. And in theory, it should be possible. But for some reason in practice, it's just not working out the way I expect it to. Getting a little bit of a Zoodle overload. I think 3 will be enough. The 4th one is a little extra. Yeah, if you guys have any interesting recipes you want me to give a go, I'm more than happy to try out new things. Right now I'm sharing with you stuff that are tried and true, and I know that it'll be kind of difficult for me to mess up, but I have a talent for messing up anyways, and you get to see it live. I mean, like, come on, like, entertainment at its finest, right? And another reason why I'm doing it live is because I don't have to be a perfectionist about the camera angles or be a perfectionist of how the shots are looking, the light is looking. It's just, you and me hanging out in my kitchen, making some dinner. Just wish you get to taste and smell some of these lovely things. So I have a good amount here. I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to toss this out. And put this aside. And that also goes in the sink. So as I said, I'm going to salt them a little bit. Yes, I know this is for, like rock salt. We had pink rock salt, and then this salt was on sale, so I ended up getting this already fine grained salt. It's still salt, it works, whatever, I don't really care. And this is going to go aside, then I'll show you how much water ends up being wicked out of it. Okay. Oh no, I forgot to put kitchen towels behind me. You want to grab kitchen towels for me, please? Blue and white, pretty please. To make it pretty and aesthetic to match all my other blue and white things. That's my husband over there doing something. So next up is the meat of, this whole recipe. Haha. Please don't leave. I am using ground turkey, and I like to use ground turkey for meatballs. I feel like it makes them a little bit softer and leaner and a lot less greasier. So much so that I sometimes need to even add oil to like the mix itself so that it doesn't stick too bad. that, oh, how much is this? This is 60 ounces. So 60 ounces will be for about the two of us, probably for dinner, possibly leftovers for lunch. We'll see how things work out. So it's all dumped in there. And I'm gonna add some egg to it. Thank you so much, my dear. Now I towels, so that I don't keep using the paper towels. Okay, so I think I'm gonna use all of the 3 eggs in this batter. We'll see how it goes throughout. So these recipes are supposedly stuff that I have. Let me repeat that. These recipes are stuff that I have tried and we've tasted before and I've done before in similar variations, that type of thing. But I do have that talent to mess up. So if things don't come out as planned or as great, you get to see it all happen. Now I need a spoon of some sort. I think this will work. I'll get in with my hands afterwards to shape them and form. My puppy needs to go potty. We have buttons that she uses to communicate with us instead of barking. So she needs to go potty. And my husband is so amazing, he's gonna take her. All right, so I am mixing it up. Adding eggs to the turkey batter thing makes it stick together better, I suppose. Right now, this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm gonna add some spices, some breadcrumbs, and some other goodies. But I like to add the egg first and mix it around first. That way the egg kind of has a little bit of like a chemical reaction with the meat and it tenderizes it a little bit almost. It makes it just a little bit softer. So I have a warning for you guys. If you are on your phones or using headphones while you're listening to me cook this tasty stuff, I will be using the blender. So I will give you a heads up when I'm going to turn the blender on. That way you can, either mute the video or like take headphones out because I don't want to make you guys go deaf. So speaking of blender, I'm going to be using it. So we have a bullet and I have this specific like can for sauces, and because of like the garlic and like the onion and a lot of citrusy stuff that I end up putting into the sauces, it ended up like eating away at the plastic. Let me show you how it actually looks like. So they're supposed to look like this, nice and see-through. See, this is like my smoothie cup. This is my sauce cup. How? Why does this happen? And while I was there, I grabbed some basil leaves. Now, right now, I'm going to add or make a blend that's going to go into here. That way I don't have to chop it. It's nice, quick, and easy. So literally all I'm going to do is just toss that basil in. Toss a couple cloves in. 3, I think the rest is going to be for the tomato sauce. And then a bit less than half. Just gonna cut that up a bit so it doesn't have to cook around too much or make too much noise. And this is a little blend that I'm gonna add to here. So here's the warning: blender is gonna be being used. You ready? 3, 2, 1. It's gonna make noise. I think that's good enough. Oh, there's a little piece in there. Okay, blender is done. You can come back now. You're not gonna go deaf. Alrighty. So, oh no. Let me grab another spoon. That way I'm not gonna stick the meat thingy in here. and dump it right in. So this is kind of what it looks like. I didn't turn it into a onion garlic smoothie. It's just very roughly chopped up, and I don't have to do it. I don't have to cry about it. You don't have to see me cry on camera, so I like doing it this way. It makes my life a little easier. Oh, that's a big chunk. I don't need you. Okay, toss that in and right into the sink. I'm gonna rinse it right now because I'm gonna use it later for the tomato sauce. Again, I don't have to chop, and it just smooths everything together and makes my life easier. Okay, put you aside, toss you out, and mix that in. All right, now come the spices and the breadcrumbs. Oh, over here. So here is that. I'm adding turmeric. I should probably grab measuring spoons in case you want to follow this along. I don't usually go by measuring spoons, but I'll do it just for you, just in case you want to make this. So this is a half a teaspoon. And another half. So about 1 teaspoon of turmeric, however on earth you pronounce it. And then about the same amount of paprika. So 1 and 2. Ooh, I love the smell of it. It's gonna add some really nice color to it too. Okay. A lot of my cooking I do is by smell, not by taste. I don't know why. Works out that way for me, I guess. Okay, mixing it up. Ooh, it's already smelling really good. All that garlic and onion juices and the paprika just, so good. Okay, this is what it looks like now. Don't worry, I'll get my hands in there nice and dirty afterwards to shape them into pretty meatballs. And onto the breadcrumbs to make it, stiffer, more formable, so they fall apart less, I guess. That's the way to put it. Oh no, there's like a large piece of onion in there. Oops. That's what happens when I try to cheat my way out of it. That's okay, no biggie. Let's see. So if you were interested in making a similar dinner vegan, just get vegan meatballs, because the only like non-vegan ingredients are going into this meatball set. The rest is going to be vegan friendly. Like tomato sauce is just going to be vegan. Vegetables. Zoodles are obviously vegetables. This is the only part that is not vegan in my recipe, or gluten-free, I would say, because of the breadcrumbs. I mean, I suppose you can get gluten-free breadcrumbs. So that's that. I feel like it's an easy substitute. I know grocery stores have a lot of meatless meatballs for substitute, that type of thing. So you can very easily, kind of form it to your dietary needs, your dietary habits. This is kind of what the texture is. Getting close to where I need it to be. Oh boy. A little bit more breadcrumbs. I'm running out. I'm running low. We make our own breadcrumbs, so it's not like I go out to the store and make them. This is the ends of the breads that I don't like, pretty much. And we just dry them in our dehydrator, and my husband beats it into a pulp. There's that. Sometimes we put it through the blender too. That could have also kind of discolored the blender because of interesting. Okay. I think I'm at there. think it needs a little bit more. Again, I'm going by the texture. I'm not going by the amount. I feel like it's possible if I just let it sit there, it's going to get to that perfect consistency. So right now, I'm not going to add any more breadcrumbs because I feel like it's going to stiffen up in just a moment. So that is done. I'm going to put it right aside there. And while this is kind of resting, I suppose, I'm going to start up with making the sauce. So I'm going to take the onion and however to make it in half. So the rest of the half that was going to go in there, but I decided not to put it in there. I'm going to take this and put it into the blender. Oh, without the spoon. Toss that right in. Maybe cut it in half first. Plop her in. And the garlic. So I'm going to take like one of the large cloves of garlic to fry up a little bit, and the rest of the cloves are going to go right in there. I don't need that anymore. And then the tomatoes. Tomato, or tomato. How do you pronounce it? Because I feel like a lot of different places pronounce things differently. And now that I'm meeting a lot of people from all over the world, it's really fascinating to learn all these different ways of like speaking the same thing. It's really cool. So I cut out like the little heart of it. I don't go too crazy or too intense. I'm just going to go all through the blender for the sauce. So I just kind of like cut a side, cut another side. So I could just cut out this little triangle. And there's a little spot on this tomato. I'm just going to cut it right out. Bam. Perfect. Push you aside. You're going to get chopped later. Okay, I think that's all the room in my little blender. I'm not going to turn it on yet, but I will give you a warning when I do. So I have my little pot, and I'm going to put some olive oil in there. Is that too much like weird backlighting so I can see? No, I look okay. Okay. Maybe dim it a little. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there and turn it on, not too high, but like to a medium high so that the onions don't burn. And then I'm going to mince these guys. If they were to cooperate with me. Should have probably sharpened the knife a little bit, but whatever. Now, do not judge my knife skills. I am no professional at all whatsoever. So, just let me do my thing. That would be my alarm. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Almost done. So this is not going to go in the blender. I want it to be nice and fine. This is going to go right into the pot. Let's scoop it up. Not really a great way to do it on camera. Drop things in the process. My puppy actually eats the onion, so she's going to be the cleanup crew afterwards. Ooh, I'm not crying. Maybe I spoke too soon. There's a little bit of a tear. Okay. I think I'm okay. All right, I'm going to toss the rest out. Wash my hands. I wash my hands a lot when I cook. I think I'm going to, oh, you are too long. Let's go with this one. And now I'm just going to let it sit in there and caramelize. You can see, but like that. I'll bring it up closer once it starts to get more color. Oh no, did I put the garlic in there? I think I did. Oh well. I tossed all the garlics in here. I was going to chop one up and put it in the pan to caramelize a little bit, but that's fine. It's just going to go all in. Okay, so blender is going on. I'm gonna put it aside because I don't want to dump it into the pot yet, since the onion, just the onion isn't like caramelized. It's not the color that I want it to be yet. And I'm gonna go back to this. Yeah. So since I let the bread kind of absorb some of the liquid, this is its consistency now. This is about where I want it to be. So now I'm going to shape these guys and take out the large onion pieces. Oh, if only you can smell how good like that garlic is in the back. It's just amazing. So I'm going to grab this. And grab some parchment paper. Hopefully all my little lids aren't going to come flying out. Place it on here. Come on, cooperate. Get in there. Of course it's not going to do what I want it to do. All right, here's that. And I need my little scoop-de-doop-de to make it the same size. Now I tend to wet my hands, makes it a lot easier to form them. And I use the scooper to make them all a uniform size. So just pat them all nicely together. Plop. Making the meatballs. Oh, I love the little pieces of basil peeking through. Makes it really cute. And I'm just gonna go on through and make all of these little meatballs. I'm listening to the onion behind me. When it starts to make a little bit of like that angry crackling noise, I'm gonna give it a little tousle. But for now, I think it's okay. So even though I use a scooper, my meatballs do not come out the same size because I go a little too fast or try to do this quickly, especially so that you guys won't be, sitting there all bored out of your mind. Oh, she's still doing okay. I have a question. Would you be interested in kind of doing like a follow along? Like I could provide ingredient lists a couple days before my videos. And if you're curious to kind of follow along and see what I'm doing, would you like something like that? And again, you can always, request various recipes for me to try. Watch me fail at things that I have not done before. That's always entertaining, right? I will be entertained. I will be entertained to struggle. Just for you. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna rinse my hands. And mix up these items. Okay. Gonna wet my hands again and continue on with the meatballs. I think I'm about halfway done. This dinner is a little longer and more elaborate than the last one I have made, but it's also very delicious and a wonderful variety. At least I think so. I mean, if you don't like any of this stuff, then boo. No, I don't. I'm kidding. Then I wouldn't invite you over for dinner. How about that? stay in there. Need a little bit more. Still going strong with the meatballs. I don't know if it's at the fair near us. I think it's called the Big E in West Springfield, Massachusetts, or the New England something, whatever. But I believe one of the dishes that like that carnival place serves is a giant meatball. Now, I never really understood it. I've never tried it, so I can't really, be an expert about it. But I never really understood the concept of a giant meatball. Wouldn't that just be a round meatloaf? Like, what's the difference between a meatloaf and a meatball? Size? So if you have a giant meatball, isn't it just a round meatloaf? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think about giant meatballs. Yeah, my little conundrum that never really understood. Okay. Mix the onions up a little bit. Ooh, getting some color now. If only you could smell like how good this smells. Oh. And the big pan is where I'm going to be cooking the meatballs. I'm going to toss in some olive oil. And turn it on at about medium heat just to get it warmed up. Then I'm going to pull my pans up because they seem to be falling off. Okay. Back to the task. I have just a little bit left. I'm going to squish it all together. And I think once this is all packed down, I can start cooking them. Woo-hoo. Now, here's another tip for making zucchini noodle stuff. Cook it last. That should be the last thing that gets put on the stove and the quickest thing to take off. So once everything is nice and cooked and prepped, I'm just going to literally sear it really quickly on high heat, and that will be the end of it. And I'm hungry and ready for dinner. And it'll just smell so good. I wish there was like a little plug-in you could do into your computer and I could like plug it into mine. That way you get to experience this delicious smell of a little bit basil-y, garlicky, oniony, just yum, yum, yum. And if these meatballs fall apart, I'm just gonna ground them up together. And it'll be, instead of zoodles and meatballs, it'll be like zoodles and meat sauce. Why not? Just go with the flow, right? Oh, buddy. Okay, I'm running out of room over here. Spaced them apart too much. Come on, move your booty. Move your booty. Pop you over here, move you over. And so I have room for a couple more. Okay. Why are they getting smaller? I'm using the form. And one more. This is going to be a little one. This is whatever is left. I'd much rather have a littler one than a giant one. scrape off whatever I can in the spoon and whatever I can off the sides. Yeah. Itty bitty little one. This can be Izzy's. This will be the puppy's little meatball. Okay. Ta-da! Meatballs are done. This will go in the sink. Wash my hands again. Oil is not that warm. I want it to do like a little crackle. So it still needs to warm up a little bit. Like that. So I'm going to put our little blend into it. Oh no. There we go. I got it. Ooh, it's a little angry. It tried to fight back. Oh, it smells so good with the garlic and the onion in there. Yum! I'm gonna turn the heat way down and mix it from like a distance so it doesn't attack me. There we go. And let that simmer. And at the same time, I'm going to, here to me, rinse off my board. Okay. I don't know if you could tell from like the past live video that I ended up moving my whole counter over. That way I can have like a better frame for my cooking and I don't have to move around too much. So again, I will give you a warning when I'm going to be using the blender because these are going to be nicely blended all over again. It's my little hack so I don't have to keep chopping at it. Come on. Squash you in there. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, blender noise in 3, 2, 1. If you're wearing headphones, volume down. Now you can also add some vodka to this and then you have a Bloody Mary. I think. I've never actually had a Bloody Mary before. Oh no, and there we go. And pour it right in. Boom. I will take the top off. I think it's sufficient enough in there. There we go. Let me just show you what the color of it is right now. This is just tomatoes and some onions and garlic, and it smells so good. All right, so I am going to cook these on the pot now. My back will be turned towards you most of the time, but just, you know, hang out and bear with me while I make some meatballs. Also, these little things are a great help to turn them around. Okay, I will turn up the heat a little bit on my tomatoes. And then I'm going to take some of the paprika and just sprinkle it over the meatballs. Just to give them a little bit of color. Same thing with salt and pepper. All right, give those guys a few minutes to get some color. And in the meantime, I'm going to chop these up, mainly for garnish, to make it look nice and pretty. But at the same time, I do love the flavor of like the green onions when you like bite into the, I like the texture and I like the flavor, I like the freshness of it. So I tend to do an overkill of the green onions, but it's delicious. Another benefit for 2020 being kind of crazy, well, there's so many drawbacks, but there's a benefit, is now people have to wear masks when you go out in public. So if you eat a ton of garlic and onion, food stuff, they won't really smell it. So there is a positive. And I love garlic and onion. Nicely chopped. Ooh, I'm gonna get over here. Put that in my little container for later. Oh, come on. I may have given them just a little bit too much color, but they're not too bad. I will turn off the heat for them though. Oh no, I forgot to blend in the basil for the sauce. That's fine. I suppose I'll chop. So I'm gonna take these. Clean up the leaves a little bit. Then I'm gonna gather them up to a little bundle, as close as I can get it. Squish them. Roll and chop. Okay, well, just got a little late. So some of the meatballs are done. I'm going to take a paper towel and layer them on top of the paper towel so that olive oil will kind of drain out. Ah! Right away. It may have gotten a little bit too much color on the outside, probably had the heat on too high, but they're not overcooked. They're just a little crispy on the outside. Like I said, if I mess up and it's live, you get some entertainment. They're still going to be delicious, I have no doubt. Okay, that's done. I will rinse this. Get steam. Because then I'm going to cook the zoodles in it. So here's that. Okay, this is reducing nicely. I'm going to have it keep going a little bit longer. All right, on to more things for garnish. I'm going to chop up some more of the basil leaves that I have. Okay, same thing, to little tiny slices. So I have more things to sprinkle over the top to make it nice and pretty. Then I'm gonna chop these. These are gonna go alongside with the zoodles. Again, for more color, more flavor, more variance. Because a lot of the times you eat more with your eyes than with your actual mouth, because when dishes are pretty and presentable, they just taste so much better, don't they? Okay. Chop these guys up in half. Eat one. Because why not? Okay, so I have a little bit of basil, some of these tomato stuff. That's bubbling. That's awesome. gonna take one of the dishes, dry it out, and I'm gonna grate the cheese in here so that when everything comes out, just sprinkle over some nice fresh Romano cheese. Yum. Mr. Basil, get out of there. So some of these, and I'm gonna grate away. You can get shredded cheese and things like that from the grocery store, but there's just something so much better. The flavor is so much stronger when it's freshly grated. I don't know what it is. Olive Garden's is onto something. We were at Olive Garden at one point. If you're watching it from the outside of the States and you don't know what Olive Garden is, it is a Italian-esque based chain restaurant. It's kind of like McDonald's, but Italian food without a drive-through, so you dine in. And the servers, after they bring out your food, they bring out like a thing of cheese and they like grate fresh cheese over your food. We were there, I think this was a year ago or something like that. We were there and we had soup and salad. That's like my favorite thing to get from them. And we asked the waiter, you know, just to leave the cheese with us. And he did. He left the whole thing of cheese alongside with the grater, just with us at the table. My husband had a field day because he usually adds so much cheese to his stuff that you can barely see the stuff. But there's that. Nicely, freshly grated cheese. My giant cheese grater kind of looks like that. Okay, I have that all aside. Let's see how you are doing. Still, I should have had it on higher heat. So I should have had that on lower heat and this on higher heat from the beginning. So it's a little bit more like soupy rather than saucy. I think what I'm gonna do is just cook it on here. That way it has more surface area and it reduces quicker. So I'm just gonna pour it in over. There we go. So slight change of plans and pots, I suppose. And I'm just gonna let it reduce over in here. That way it bubbles up less and, well, it becomes more saucy. And while that is finishing cooking, I'm gonna give this a try. I'm sure they're fully cooked. Yeah. Nice and soft, nice and squishy. Definitely not overcooked, but I did add too much color. I didn't really burn it since it's not, you know, charred black, but I did kind of singe it. They are really good. I wish I could share this with you. Maybe like climb into the screen and I'll give you, you know, a piece of a meatball. Okay, let's see where we're at. Almost there. Now it's a little bit more sauce-like, less soupy. Still, we need a couple more minutes to make it more of a sauce. And then after I disappear for a little bit, I'm going to grab another pan. And this is so that I can make the zucchini noodles and yank my pants up so that it stopped falling. Okay. So this is definitely going to go on high heat. You want to sear them really quickly. Some olive oil. Because I already added some salt to it, I don't need to add more salt. So right now what I'm going to do is squeeze them. Ready? Watch. Maybe the paper towel got most of it. But usually there's like, no, I think I let it. I don't have the squeezing power. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Do this. Kind of squeeze it out a little bit. Oh no, I need another plate. Give me 1 second. I have this plate prepped for the zucchinis, but I suppose this would work where it's just hold on to them while I kind of squeeze out some of the water. See, there we go. I couldn't do it the whole thing because I have, very little squeezing power, but squeeze out all that water and then break them apart. Again, my husband does help me out with this because he could just go like, rah, and the whole thing, like, all the water just comes out. I call him my muscle because, well, he's a big guy and he's so strong. Anyways, squeeze out the water. I'm being a little bit dramatic by like holding it up so you can see it. This again makes it a lot less soggy. And you don't want soggy pasta. Even when cooking pasta, you cook it to be al dente. Now, in hindsight, maybe I should have done that for zucchini, but I think it'll be fine. We'll fill up on meatballs. Okay. So much water for zucchini juice. This is just like, I wanted to be dramatic and just lift up the whole thing, be just like squeeze, and you see a little waterfall coming out from under them, but it didn't work out. Instead, you get to watch it little by little, the little streams instead of little waterfalls. Okay. Keep squeezing it out. I'm almost done. The paper towel soaked up a bunch of it. Okay. And the last handful. Perfect. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Now it's a sauce. I can turn off the heat. Just let it finish simmering over here. Actually gonna do this. Whoop. We're gonna do that. And put that on high and turn it off. So now it looks more like a sauce and a lot less like tomato soup. Alright, and this will fight back when you put it into hot oil, so just beware. Wear a shirt. Apron maybe. There we go. I'm just going to wipe it off, and the plate is still clean because it just has some wet zucchini on there. I will put the meatballs into the sauce. Toss them right in. Ooh. put these guys away. Add a little bit of pepper. Then I'm going to mix in the meatballs into the sauce. Just look at that. Look how good that looks. Yum. All right, zucchini noodles are done. I'm going to toss this in. Okay, so here is that. Now we plate. I'm going to attempt to make like a pretty plating of this stuff. We'll see how that goes. There's a long one. Okay. Attempt to make it pretty. Oh boy. Stop it. Cooperate. Boom. I lost my spoon. That's okay. We got this. Then some meatballs. Boy. Covered in the delicious tomato sauce. Ooh. Okay, not as pretty as I want it to be, but that's fine. A little bit of sauce over it. A little bit of sauce over that. Perfect. Just gonna push this aside. On to the good stuff. The cheese. Load it up. Nice big sprinkle. Nice big sprinkle. My husband likes extra cheese. And then add extra color and extra texture. Yeah. Voila! It's not as pretty as I wanted it to be, but you know what? It works out. Ooh, some of the basil. Fresh basil tastes amazing on everything. All right, and here is a plate of dinner. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This dinner took about an hour to make. Let me know if you've tried it out. Let me know if you want like a more detailed recipe. maybe I could work something up. But here is dinner. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, the whole shebang, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Now, I gotta lean forward and turn it off.